Okay, I'm live. um, 1 second. Okay, I'm back in here. In the spirit of the Walking Dead marathon, I'm gonna see. I'm gonna try to go back and find everybody's um Walking Dead tag that they were doing. I know one of them is the Walking Dead scenario leadership. The Miami Prepper Doug Base 654, because I got his name wrong the last time. Doug Base 654, General Leslie, um, Irish. What? I can't never think of the name of the channel when I want to. Hibernasium. Who else? I'm gonna pull up in here. Van Prepper. The Prepper Mind. Thank you too for following me, checking on my videos. Um, who else? That's all I can think of at the moment. The Walking Dead leadership. Now, if you look at The Walking Dead, I know most people only include Rick, the governor, Shane. Some people still making Shane relevant. That's cool. If you want to look at the leadership overall, you had. I'm looking at episode now, and it's the governor's single episodes leading into the season premiere. I can't think of dude's name, so I'm gonna say the Woodland Community. That's what I'm gonna name them. The Woodland Community. They had your typical former cop, um, former military, the guy with the tank, a few other random survivors, and they had basically they would ride up, clear out the spot, bob wired the area off, the places where they were growing food and whatnot. They had that separated from the people who had campers, but they was all connected. You know what I mean? Um, and then of course the governor came in there, killed the leader, took over things, brainwashed them with his logic, and had them go fight Rick, Rick and company at the prison. Now, I'm trying to keep this tied in because I don't want to have to do a separate video, but I might because of time. And then you had. I'm gonna do it this way. I'm gonna explain each scenario that I've noticed first. So in that scenario, everybody was basically, I guess, democratic. They was taking votes on what should be done, and if they voted to leave or whatever, which has been the case in most scenarios, with the exception of Woodbury, which brings in the governor. Wherever he goes, he uses murder and threat to get his leadership position. Versus Rick and Shane, which is more on the logical side. You know what I'm saying? They'll sit down with the people, explain the situation. You know what I'm saying? Be like, okay, well, if you want me to lead you, this is how I roll. You know what I mean? And let people have a little bit of a say. So the governor was like, nah. He formed his former his little what did the girl call him? Wannabe paramilitary. You know what I'm saying? He had those guys up there with their little machine guns or whatever the specific guns was, acting like the new like the new version of cops and shit. Um, Gardner's Town, they followed whatever he said because of how sadistic he was. I guess nobody had the thought to just shoot his ass and overthrow him and get his sick dumb ass out the way. But he ran his camp with more of a dictatorship. And in the shit at the fan scenario, I'm leaning more toward the zombie stuff. Basic. basic rights and civil unrest, you really don't have no room for no power trips. You know what I mean? There's enough shit going on as it is. Just like in the Walking Dead, there's enough shit going on that you don't need motherfuckers on power trips because they used to be cops or whatever messing up the groove. You got enough shit that can kill you already without having to worry about them killing you, trying to make an example out of you and flex their muscle or flex their guns or whatever. You know what I mean? Um, Shane to me relied more on instinct. You know what I mean? Like he moved more off the seat of his pants, and ironically, that's what got him into trouble by the end of it. Cause by the same seat of those pants, he fell into another man's woman while he went around and couldn't get over it and let things go back to the way they used to be. Um, Rick Rick has fluctuated throughout the seasons between a dictator and letting his followers have a say or have a vote. And in cases where they didn't question Rick's quote unquote authority or his judgment, a lot of people ended up getting killed. Like, and that's one point that I want to make. And I brought this up in a little bit in my former military prepper video and in my preppers part 1 video is, and in a lot of these situations and amongst certain prep communities that I see, there's a lot of blind following, and humanity has gotten itself into a lot of bullshit blindly following stuff, whether it was military oriented, whether it was religion oriented. Humanities did a lot of cruel, fucked up shit just blindly following people, and I'm not for that, personally. If some shit sounds out of pocket, sounds fucked up, I might question you about it. You know what I mean? In these scenarios, if you look at most of the people that got like a dictatorship kind of thing going on, most of them take the what would be the citizens' guns away from them. Have y'all noticed that? For everybody that's former military, former cop in this show, at some point they try to confiscate somebody else's weapon and say that they're doing it for their own good. And I'm not for that bullshit either. Y'all can hate on the president all you want, try to say, oh, it's Obama's fault and all the rest of this bullshit, but realistically, a lot of you guys, for the same stuff that you will bash him over the head for or try to put the blame on him supposedly for doing, you're doing the same thing. And that makes you a hypocrite. You know, you want equal gun rights for people, or for yourself, I'll say it like that. You want equal gun rights and you don't want nobody telling you what ammo and what guns you can have, but you'll sit there in the same breath and say, well, but that guy over there, I don't think they should have it. Maybe he's unstable. Because what really makes you more mentally stable to have a firearm than anybody else? I mean, realistically, how many of y'all out there on fucking medication now, former soldiers and whatnot included, that somebody looking at you might say the same thing? So if you don't want those rights infringed upon, don't infringe on other people's. Simple enough. But that's gonna be it for my leadership segment. Out of all of those leaders, if Rick could have held his mentality together, I think they would have been okay. But when Rick fell, the way they had the little council set up, that was awesome. That's more minds, more creative thought, and they didn't abuse their power. So I like that. I like that they stepped in when Rick was like, okay, I've played both sides and I'm losing my mind, so let me step out the way. And I like that he was man enough to do that. And I don't think that's something that you'll find amongst the shitty defend prepper community, is people being man enough to say when they're wrong on something, just because they're used to people praising them, just because they do or used to wear a uniform. I think some of them might be power tripping. Um, that aside, other than the power tripping stuff, most of the people come with some great ideas, some very creative thought. I follow a lot of you, um, and thank you for letting me be a part of the dialogue and showing me some love. Those of y'all who have dialogue with me in the comments and in personal messages, and I'll try to keep up with you guys with the video responses. So all of y'all be blessed and y'all take care. Um, and I don't have a catchphrase yet, other than I'm gonna use my witchy one, which is, "Amen. We out here. Peace."